Hey, this is Cassie, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout out to Blue Blood Sports TV.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout outs to Blue Blood Sports TV.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV. Hola, habla Cindy, está viendo Deportes TV.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So two-time unified British heavyweight world champion Anthony Joshua states that in a recent interview, he doesn't feel like the U.S., the United States of America, respects him. And he feels like not only do they not respect him, but they disrespect him because he's British and he just doesn't get the respect that he deserves. He says he understands that America is going to back Americans. He says, but at the end of the day, accomplishments are accomplishments, and the things that I accomplish has to be and should be recognized. He says, I just don't get the respect, and they never respect us in the sport because we're British and we're from the UK. So he says that, you know, he feels like the media in the US and America are completely disrespecting him and not recognizing him for his greatness and his accomplishments. And he feels slighted. He says that, you know, he had a setback. Yes, you look to go win 100% of the time, but you can't always win. Everybody's not Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather ended his career 50-0. Not the only person. We saw the likes of Rocky Marciano end his career 49-0. But he says that, you know, those are slim, you know, in the sport of boxing, right? He says you have some anomalies, right? But at the end of the day, everybody's not going to go undefeated. It's like they couldn't wait for me to fail. And I believe my take on this is that I don't think that Anthony Joshua is misunderstanding how the sport of boxing is perceived in the States. The sport of boxing in the States is perceived much different than the sport of boxing is perceived in the UK, in the United Kingdom. It's just two different worlds. Same sport, but two different worlds. The sport of boxing in the UK is third major sport. The sport of boxing in the US is seventh, eighth major sport, at the very least, right? And you have to understand, it's just two different types of upbringings, two different types of cultures. So what's accepted and what you're brought up doing in the UK, in the United Kingdom, is different and not accepted in the States. And what's accepted in the States may not be accepted in the United Kingdom, right? It's just two different types of cultures. And the sport, when you're dealing with the sport, everybody's approach to the sport, as far as culture-wise, is different. The way the approach is to the sport of boxing in the States and the way it's approached in the UK is two different things, two different worlds. And so, yes, there's times where you feel the media here in the States don't understand Anthony Joshua's approach. And it's vice versa, because just like Anthony Joshua is stating, is because he's misunderstanding the approach from the States, because he don't understand the approach of the sport here in the States. So it comes off as disdain or dislike, when actually it's constructive criticism. That's just what it is. But in the UK, maybe the approach that's the constructive criticism and approach to the sport and the athletes that participate in the sport of boxing is different than that of what's accepted or what's the norm for boxers over in the UK. So I believe that here in the States, there's tons of media members, the sport of boxing, within the sport of boxing, and around the sport of boxing, surrounding the sport of boxing, ESPN, that respect and put Anthony Joshua on a high pedestal. He's not looked down upon. Now, obviously, you want to see him tested, right? And it just is what it is. The United Kingdom is not known for having the best of competition in the UK. It's no disrespect to the UK, but the talent pool is much deeper in the States than it is in the UK. That's just what it is, okay? When you look at the greats in the sport of boxing, not that they're greats aren't in the UK or in other countries, because you have the Ukraine, you have China, you have Manny Pacquiao, 8 division superstar, legendary boxer, Filipino, so there's different cultures. But the United States dominates the sport of boxing. The Mexican culture and the African American culture in the sport of boxing just dominates from the States. It just is what it is from top to bottom. So the talent pool is much deeper in the States than it is in the UK. So there's always going to be some sort of criticism regarding your competition over in the UK and what you actually achieved. So there's always going to be comparisons and say, well, you should have did this. You should have fought this guy. It's just like Joe Kawasaki. He didn't fight the level of competition that Roy Jones, Bernard Hopkins, and James Toney fought here in the States. It's just different. It just is what it is. Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson, Riddick Bowe, Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis came over here and made a name for himself. But when you look at guys like, Frank Bruno, prior to him coming to the States, he hadn't fought the level of competition that these guys fought. That's why it's always stated that you have to come to the States and make a name for yourself. Just like Tyson Fury says, I have to come to the States to make a name for myself. It just is what it is. It's no disrespect to the United Kingdom and the sport of boxing. It's just the deeper talent pool. So when Anthony Joshua and his accomplishments, the States are looking at it and saying, okay, but who did you fight? That's always what it is. That's just what it is in the sports world overall here in the States. It's never enough. It's always, what have you done for me lately? Which is totally different than over in the United Kingdom. You have guys like Ricky Burns who have multiple losses on their resume and is still a box office attraction in the UK. You have guys like Derek Chisora who has multiple losses on his resume and still an attraction in the UK. Multiple losses. That is not going to fly here in the States. You're not going to be a box office attraction in the States with multiple losses. It just is what it is. So I believe that Anthony Joshua is misunderstanding and misstating how he's perceived in the States, because actually, in all actuality, Anthony Joshua was more beloved in the States than Deontay Wilder, who was the longest reigning WBC heavyweight world champion. You have more people over here pulling for Anthony Joshua than they was pulling for Deontay Wilder. So I believe that Anthony Joshua is misunderstanding how he's perceived here in the States. But that's all I got for y'all. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Hey, this is Jasmine. Thank you for watching Blue Blood Sports TV. Hola, soy Jasmine. Gracias por ver Sangre Azul Deportes TV. Gracias.